So I thought of something kind of cool to do. And normally I don't try to do these like through the months, all the holiday themes and stuff. I may in the future maybe try at least one video here or something there. I usually put like little things in my videos as you probably seen. Like Christmas has like a little Santa Claus and presents and stuff like that. So I thought this was cool because I seen it and I wanted to do something before, but I haven't had the time. But this kind of kills two birds with one stone in this situation. So I saw a post, and I don't disagree with this post. This is not a come at the person post or anything. It's me kind of adding to it a bit. So Karan Ashley, as you can see here, aka Aisha Campbell, who I adore from Power Rangers. Like I would love to meet her one day. I just love everything about her. As a kid, she was one of my like celebrity crushes. Still is. I think she's awesome. Um, as well as I love Nakia Burris. Like I'm right there with Black Nerd when he interviewed them. I'm right there with him. Um, Karan Ashley, I just look at her and I'm just like, she's so cool, she's so awesome, and everything. So, like I said, when I explain this, this isn't a come at all. As a matter of fact, I'm going to kind of co-sign it, but add to it. So she posted a thing during Black History Month. You'll see the picture on here. I'm probably going to put it in the background or whatever because I just think she's awesome and I can't wait for the 30th anniversary. Where she goes, I am Black History, and she's the first female live action black superhero on television. That's what she put on there. Now, there are some things that come into play here. What do you consider a superhero? Because there are a lot of people who say Superman was the first superhero, yet, so it does count on what do you consider a superhero. So, for example, Superman was in like April of 1938, and most people consider Superman to be the first superhero. Then you have Batman, who was in March of 1939, which people consider the second superhero. And you will hear a lot of comic book fans and a lot of people flat out say these are the first superheroes, right? But now the reason why I asked the question, what do you consider a superhero? Because what about the Shadow? Now the Shadow has special abilities. Batman was partially inspired by the Shadow. The Shadow's laugh could sometimes make a bad person go crazy. He could turn around and play with the shadows and hide. He had like his face stretch and stuff like that. If you ever seen the Shadow movie, excellent movie. You also have the Phantom. They had a movie with the Phantom in the 90s with Billy Zane. Love that movie too. Slam Evil. That was like 1936. I think in February. Actually this month. Or last month. You have Doc Savage, who was March 1933. The Man of Bronze. Kind of a partial precursor to Superman. And then you also have Mandrake the Magician, 1934. That was in June. Mandrake the Magician had powers. So it starts to raise the question. These characters had movies. These characters had abilities. Are these characters considered superheroes by some people's standards? Yes. So they're a little bit ahead. They had costumes and everything. But Superman, I think, was the first one to do a full, huge breakout. And also, at the time, Superman could jump. Like, Superman had more powers and they kind of pushed it. But these other characters, Shadow had radio shows and everything, and serials. And these characters are still around today. The Phantom, the Shadow, Doc Savage. They're still talking about doing movies. Mandrake the Magician recently had a new comic out, I think, with his daughter. That I ended up picking up that I covered before. So the reason why I bring these up, and I do apologize if the volume changes, my headphones died, is because this raises the next question. So, Karan Ashley, yes, in America, sure, first black female superhero. But I kept thinking, and I'm like, something feels off. I swear there was superhero type characters before her. And lo and behold, going into my memory banks, technically, if you want to get technical, I was probably kind of right, which is awesome that this led to her. Now, Power Rangers are superheroes, Super Sentai. They're like hands down superheroes, right? So you have the Tomorrow People. Now, I'm not talking about the show from the CW. I am, but I'm not. They've had a few iterations of this show. That was an awesome iteration that got canceled, and it sucks because that show was actually cool. So you had the original Tomorrow People, which was supposed to go up against Doctor Who at the time in England. With 1974 to like 1979, and I actually watched it. I watched it back when I think they had it on Nickelodeon, the old British one. So you had Elizabeth Adair, who is from Sierra Leone. She had some fallouts with the show later, but she decided to stay on. And I've seen some quotes because she realized the significance of being the first black female lead character in a show. And in that show, they have telepathy, teleportation, telekinesis. They have powers and they fight against evil. That to me is a superhero. They're just not suited up. Like a lot of modern day superheroes that don't wear costumes. I mean, look at Jessica Jones. Look at America Chavez. She has a look, but she's technically just wearing regular clothes. So you run into that situation, right? And at the time, like I said, she had some issues, but she held on. First time ever I could think of. Then you had the one that came out in the 90s. That had Naomi Harris on it. You might know her from 28 Days Later, Pirates of the Caribbean. She played the character of Amy. Telepathy, telekinesis, teleportation. I remember in that one, people were from around the world. So I think she was from England, somebody was from Australia. But it took place partially in like America or something like that. That was 1994. In January when she premiered in there, and they had to deal with these evils and things like that you could possibly consider superheroes. Another female lead. And now we go to Karan Ashley. She would be, I would say, the first African American female costume superhero, as Super Sentai is basically meaning, for the most part, superhero. And that's pretty freaking awesome. And I know the child that played Aisha Campbell was Cicely Sewell. And hey, then you had it where they did that episode where they switched with Tanya Sloan, who was like on Turbo and I think Alien and Zeo, if I remember correctly. Nakia Bursey, and the kid one was Kiana, I think McKees. Yeah, they switched in Turbo. So that's a really cool Black History / Women Month kind of, FYI or, kind of thing. That's pretty freaking cool, I think. So we got, the Tomorrow People. We had that history, and that happened twice, and then Power Rangers. It is also very interesting that both of these things happened in the same series. So both female, from the 90s and the 70s was in the Tomorrow People, different versions. And both female Power Rangers were in Power Rangers, different versions. I just thought it was a cool little tidbit. Like I said, it still does not take away from what she said, because she technically is the first American-born black female-led superhero. And I think Nakia Burgess was born in America as well, so, I could be wrong. But I think she was, so that makes her the second. However, in history as a whole, they would be number 3 and 4, because you have 2 British-borns that were also, in my opinion, female superheroes, because they fought against things and had superpowers, and they fought against evil. So I just thought it was something cool to share, and I hope you learn something. If you want me to go into more depth, I can, but there's not much to say. It's just kind of a thing I noticed, and just wanted to throw together a quick video where just like, hey, this is just a really cool fun fact. Like I said, when she posted it, I was like, I remembered there was other black female superheroes, but I was trying to think, and I've watched every version of Tomorrow People, so it finally clicked. I was like, wait, it's from the Tomorrow People. So you should check it out. If you like older British television, like if you watch Doctor Who, but you can also handle the older Doctor Who and old 70s kind of shows, then I would definitely suggest checking out the Tomorrow People, with Elizabeth Adair, and see how her character works. She was actually a teacher in that show, and I remember one of her students was trying to tell her she was one of them, but I don't think she awakened yet, and she like freaked out, and then she did like the teleport. Like it was a cool thing, like how she came to be, and then they had to team up. And then in the 90s one, it felt a little bit more superhero-y versus the other one that still had that Doctor Who flavor. So I say, hey, if you want to check out all the shows, each one had their own different version, but they did it 3 times. So check it. And Power Rangers is awesome. And like I said, this takes nothing away from Karan Ashley. She's still history because I think she's the first American one. It's just, as a whole, we've had 4 strong, still around female black still do acting. You may see Nakia Burgess sometimes in commercials. I know Karen Ashley still does appearances and things, and she's going to show up in the new Power Rangers Netflix special. And of course, Naomi Harris is a Hollywood starlet who does her thing. So all of them still doing their stuff. This is the Geek Protagonist. You stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real. Like I said, check out the Tomorrow People. Check out both series. See if you can handle it. I like the series. See ya.